Okay guys, tonight we're looking at the Ruger 2245 Mark III. You guys have seen this gun in some of my videos. I did some shooting with it, and I also have been showing it off in live chats, but today I'm going to go over how to make this gun operator status. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. First thing we're going to do is talk about the holsters that I have with this gun. In the first video I did, I was using this ProTech holster, which is a pretty nice holster, all leather. I really like it. The only thing is, when you're shooting with a rail, it will not fit all the way into the holster because it widens. This is too narrow up here for the holster for the gun to fit it. So you can see it doesn't quite go all the way in. The trigger is supposed to be covered under there. Without the rail, it fit very nicely. I really enjoyed it, but it just doesn't work with the rail. So I'm gonna probably use this holster for like a 1911 or something like that because it'll fit pretty much any similar size gun. But now the current holster I have is the COWS, which stands for Classic Old West Style holster. They make two for this gun. They make a scoped and a non-scoped. This is obviously the scoped, and it has it's cut out here. The scoped is just solid leather there. Very nice craftsmanship, all double stitched. You can tell a lot of work went into this. Very cool. It has the Ruger emblem emblazoned right there, and on that button right there. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. So very nice craftsmanship, great holster. Just show you guys how it fits. There it is. That straps like that. And then it wasn't too hard to break in. I used a little bit of saddle soap, and then I left it in the holster for a couple days, and it's still pretty stiff. You don't want to use something like mink oil or something. You can, but it will cause the holster to lose a lot of its rigidity, and then it won't be as, it won't retain the gun as well. So I kind of wanted to maintain that, toughness. So I just put a little bit of saddle soap on there just to work out the it'll stretch real easy now, so that did the job. But we're going to go ahead and start on the gun here, and we're going to go ahead and start on the muzzle end and work our way down. This is the Tandem Cross Game Changer Compensator, and I say Tandem Cross. Tandem Cross is an online retailer who sell aftermarket parts for this gun. They sell them for the Sub 2000, the Remington 592, a bunch of other guns on there. Probably around 20 or 30 models. They all sell great aftermarket parts for them. Great website, great customer service. I love them. Tandemcross.com. I'll put a link in the description, their website. They have a lot of deals going on, especially during Black Friday. I got a lot of this stuff on sale. But definitely a great seller. You should check them out. Anyways, this is their Game Changer Compensator. It works really well. Keeps the muzzle flip down. It does its job. Pretty much all there is to say about it. If you want to keep carbon and lead out of these things, a good thing to do is to take a Q-tip or something like that and not saturate, but kind of just rub the inside with case lube, and that'll keep the carbon and lead from building up. Just get a light film in there. You can see it's still kind of, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it's still kind of glossy in there from where I last used some on there. But that should help with that. Alright, moving on down. This is the Tactical Solutions rail. Integral rear sight model, which means it comes with the rear sight integrated into the rail, so you don't have to you can have an optic and a sight if you want to. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But as you can see, it's Tactical Solutions. You can't really see it, the red dot sight covers it up, but it is held in by the 3 screws. Make sure your gun's tapped for this rail before you buy it. You can get this receiver tapped. Tactical Solutions will do it for you. It's not too expensive. I think they'll actually tap the bottom right here for an accessory rail for like $25, I want to say, and then plus shipping and all that, but not too bad. But that's what that is, Tactical Solutions Integral Rear Sight. Now the optic we have is the Burrous Fastfire 3. Great little optic, red dot sight, has an auto bright feature. I'm going to turn it on for you guys. If I can get it to come on here. Alright, let's see here. There you go. That's the auto bright, that's the brightest, medium, and that's the smallest dot. You can barely see that smallest dot when you're outside. I hardly ever use it, except when I'm in the house, maybe just practicing trigger control or something like that. Other than that, a great red dot sight. No complaints at all with it. It's very easy to change the battery, which is nice. I know a lot of models you have to take the sight off the gun. This one you just take that little cover off, put the battery back in, screw it back on, and the sight, you don't have to reset it in. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like with the integral rear sight if you take the optic off. And this is a great option to have in case something, you're hunting or camping and your red dot sight gets cracked, or it gets knocked off and you don't have the time or ammo to reset it, you can just take that off, and then there's your iron sights right there. So there's your picture for that, and then you can see it's integral into the rail there. Sorry, a little tongue twister there. But this is and it's fully adjustable for windage and elevation, like the regular stock sights are. So very nice. I really like that feature. Alright, then moving on. Last external thing we have is the Hogue finger groove grips. The factory grips, say some of these are actually Hogue, but they just don't have the finger grooves on them, so really it's not too much of an upgrade. These are a little bit thicker, I believe. I really like the way they feel. They give you the same, you get the same grip every time, which is, you know, help your accuracy and your consistency. So that's why I bought those. And plus I just love Hogue grips. It makes some great products, so I went ahead and got that. They're only like 20 bucks, so, you know, not too bad. Pretty much that's everything external. You can see some other stuff I've done, but we're going to go ahead and start on the internal things. One thing I did for the bolt, a lot of people know that with the 2245s, you can't just pull it back and let it go. You have to use the slide release. Well, I put the Slingshot Mod in, which is made by MKiii, which means instead of having to push that down to let the bolt go, all you have to do is pull back and let go. And that also relieves the spring tension, and it will save the internal parts, and it cuts down on wear on the bolt face. You will get more wear on the bolt face, or the chamber face rather, and the bolt face from, you know, using that all the time. So that helps the gun out some. It's a lot more ergonomic too. Instead of when you're shooting, instead of having to reach around like that, you can just pull it back and keep going. Keep your finger on the trigger and your aim the same. So very nice model. I like that. Another thing I did was I put the Volquartsen competition trigger in. I also have the sear in there. You can't see it, but the trigger, you can see there's a screw there to adjust the travel. One's pre-travel, one's over-travel. The other over-travel is up there on the top. So you can't really, you have to take the gun apart technically to adjust it. You can kind of get in there and adjust it. If you guys can see it, it's right there. But I don't really mess with it too much. I just messed with the regular travel spring, and it's very nice trigger. You can see here, I'll go ahead and give you a dry fire. Very light, it's barely putting any pressure on there. Probably around a pound or so, I don't know. Haven't measured it yet, but definitely a great trigger. The sear, I'm not sure exactly how much it's helped, because I never shot with the competition trigger with the factory sear. I did all the, I changed them all out at one time. The sear, the only difference I can know when I held them side by side was one was polished and one wasn't. The factory one wasn't polished. So, I mean, I'm sure you could probably get the same performance if you just polished your factory one, because the dimensions were exactly the same. The material was the same. I looked at them. I didn't mic them, but you could, I held them end to end and they were both the same. So, I don't think they did anything other than polish it. But, whatever. I went ahead and bought it. Why not? So, I love that upgrade. That's probably my favorite, is that trigger. Moving on, I took out the loaded chamber indicator and replaced it with a stainless steel, just a filler. This is actually made by Tandem, same people who made that Compensator. Great website, like I said. They make two of these. They make one that's black, and they make this one that's stainless. And I was going to get the black one to match my gun, but the black one was not stainless steel. It's plastic, and they were the same price. So, I figured for the same price I want to get the best quality, so I went and got stainless. And it looks nice. I thought it would look kind of weird, but it kind of looks good on the gun. It's not too noticeable. Very, you can actually adjust it how deep you want it. So I made it flush, and I just set it there, and it's really nice. And the reason I did that was a lot of problems caused with jamming sometimes come from these. They'll get dirty and they'll clog the chamber up, and they won't allow the case to seat properly in the chamber, or eject, to get sticky and all that kind of stuff. So I went ahead and changed that out with the factory one. And then two more actually mods I did on the inside. I put a new extractor in, a Volquartsen extractor. I did that because when I first had the gun, I was having problems with it ejecting spent cases. So I figured it was the extractor, but it turns out the gun was just getting broken. I was shooting Remington Golden Bullet, which we all know is probably the worst 22 rimfire ammo you can buy in a bulk pack. So that's probably why. Now it does a little bit better with cheaper ammo. It shoots, CCI and all that shoots great, no problem. And it's starting to get better with cheaper ammo. I think I just had to get the spring wore down is what was happening. But I went ahead and put that extractor in there. So I got that in there. And then my last upgrade is the magazine disconnect. A lot of people know that these guns will not fire with the mag out. So I went ahead, and that was probably the first upgrade I did. And that only reason I did that was not necessarily just because of the mag disconnect, but because before, whenever you would release these mags, they would go about like that far out there, and you had to pull them out. Sometimes they would barely even, you had to use your fingernail to get them out. And that was because the magazine disconnect was pushing up against the magazine inside the magazine housing. So what that does, when you take that magazine disconnect out, your magazines fly right out, and they, you know, if you're holding it, it'll fall right out on the ground. So very great feature. Definitely glad I did that. But yeah, that's pretty much an overview of what all I've done. I don't think there's anything else I could do to this gun. Maybe buy a new bolt for it. I know I think Volquartsen makes some bolts for them, but I really don't need one, so I'm not going to spend the money on it. But a great gun. Really enjoyed it. Great shooter. Good to train on. Just good to have fun. Introduce new shooters to. Really enjoyed it. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. I'd be happy to answer. So hope you guys enjoy the video, and stay tuned for more.